So I was immediately nervous because I just didn't think that I could do it, and I couldn't. 皆さんこんにちは。少し時計ようこそ。Okay, in today's video, I'm going to be talking about my process coming back to Japan, and most importantly, the service that I experienced during my journey. Because, yeah, it was pretty crazy, but I'll get into it. So if you like videos like this, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's begin. Okay, so I flew by Japan Airlines, and I think that was a good choice. Because right away when I got to the airport and I went to the Japan Airlines check-in counter, I encountered a problem. So basically the pull-up thing on my luggage would not go down at all, and I was kind of embarrassed because I really hate taking too long to do anything, especially in an airport situation when I'm very aware that there are other people waiting. But the lady who worked at Japan Airlines was super helpful, and she came out and helped me try to push the handle down, and luckily we were able to do it together. So already I had a really positive idea of Japan Airlines, and I had flown with them before, but obviously traveling overseas in this situation at the moment is extra stressful, so that immediately put me at ease. So I'm just going to quickly mention the airport itself. So Heathrow Airport, I was pretty shocked to see that it was actually kind of busy. At least in the main waiting area it was. But by the time I got to my gate where the Japan Airlines flight was leaving from, that area was actually pretty empty. And I think that's probably because the entry restrictions to Japan are still pretty strict. So there really wasn't a lot of people flying. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about my flight. So the actual flight was great, and honestly, it was one of the first flights that I've taken in a long time where I was actually able to sleep on the flight. All of the staff were really friendly, really nice. The food as well was really good. I think for my dinner, I had hamburg steak and also soba, and it was delicious. I really wasn't that hungry, but then when I got the food, I ate everything. I think airplane food is either going to be really good or really bad. There is no in between, but what I experienced on Japan Airlines was definitely good. It was excellent, actually. Okay, so this is kind of the most important part that I want to mention, and probably the part that people are most interested in, and that was when we actually arrived into Japan. So this was kind of scary because I really didn't know what to expect. I knew that before I took the flight, I had to have a PCR test within 72 hours before I flew, and they check that right away before you even board the plane. So I'm pretty sure if you don't have that, you wouldn't even be allowed to fly at all. So I knew about that, and I knew that I would be tested again once I landed in Japan, but I was honestly really nervous and really anxious because I didn't know what the full process was going to be. So first of all, when I landed, you go to, I guess, and this is honestly amazing. I don't know how they thought this out, but they've kind of prepared little areas on gates that are not currently being used. Obviously, because there are less flights coming in and out of Japan, there are a lot of gates that aren't open. So they've repurposed those to become testing areas and document checking areas. So right away, when you land, there is an area you go to, first of all, where they check your documentation. So they check your passport, they check the PCR test you took before you flew, and any other paperwork that you needed in order to enter Japan. And the people were so nice. The people that were checking your paperwork were so friendly. They immediately asked if I would be more comfortable in speaking Japanese or English. And they just really calmed me down. I think when you're in a situation where you don't know what's going to happen to you, it really helps to see a friendly face. And I can honestly say that everybody who worked there was really friendly and really nice. So yeah, first of all, they checked my paperwork. Everything was fine. And then I went to a different section, and that's when they told me that I would be staying in a quarantine facility for 3 days, And again, they just said it so calmly. They're like, okay, yeah, so we see your vaccine certificate, you know, we see all this stuff. Please complete this form. And also they were really good. If you were confused by the form, they would just kind of point things out. And yeah, they were like, yeah, you have to stay in a quarantine facility. The next thing you need to do is take a PCR test. So then you go off, and this was the thing that I was most nervous for, because the PCR test when you get to the airport is kind of gross. You have to spit into a little container, but whenever I fly, I'm so dehydrated. Like, so dehydrated, and you're not allowed to drink any water 30 minutes before you take the test. So I was immediately nervous because I just didn't think that I could do it, and I couldn't. So I just asked for help, and again, they were really nice. I just said, like, I'm dehydrated, I can't produce enough saliva, and they took me to this little area, and it was so cute. And I think I'm not supposed to describe something like this as cute, but it was. It was like this private area with I think she was a doctor, because she was dressed like a doctor. And basically she had to put a swab into my nose and do the PCR test that way, which could have been really unpleasant. Like, it definitely wasn't comfortable. But again, the lady was so nice, it just made everything feel easier. Once you'd done that, the next thing you needed to do was go to a section where they show you how to install, I think it's either 2 or 3 applications onto your mobile phone, so they can basically trace your whereabouts and you can submit your health and how you're feeling. And I thought this was great, because I feel like maybe if they'd done this in another country, maybe even in the UK, they would just say, hey, download this, and then leave it up to you. But when I was in the airport, they were really helpful. They were like, these are the apps you need to download. This is what you need to do on those apps. And then they would come and assist you and make sure you had everything working well, that your location was enabled, that you had set the language to the language that you wanted. And I just felt like that was really good service. I feel like they didn't have to do that, and so I felt really safe, because otherwise I would have totally panicked if it was left to me. I'd be constantly wondering, did I do the right thing? Is this the right app? Have I downloaded it correctly? But I didn't have to worry about any of that. And that's what kind of made the next section even better. So once I downloaded those apps, I went to a different section, and there was a man there that showed me how to specifically use them. And he even went as far as to explain what I should do if something wasn't working right, which really put me at ease, because I'd never used any of these applications before. I'm not great with technology, so to have someone clearly explain those things to me was honestly amazing. I felt like I really didn't have to worry about anything at all, and it just made me feel really safe. Finally, I went to a waiting area, and again, even though I was waiting there for a while, it wasn't really an unpleasant experience, because I felt like if I needed to ask something, I could. I didn't feel worried that there was no one around if I needed help. No matter where you were, there was always someone you could go to specifically for assistance, which I think in a stressful situation you really, really need. After all of that was done, which in total I would say it took about 3.5 hours. But again, that's my experience. I've heard for other people it's less, and for other people it's more. It just depends on how busy they are. So after that, we went to immigration and baggage claim and customs. And what's great is, and I loved this, you were in a group of people. So I had been grouped off with a group of people, and within that group you have chaperones, and they come up to every single person individually and introduce themselves and just say, hey, so we're going to immigration next. If you need any assistance while you're there, please come to me. I'm wearing this number on my shirt, so if you need any help, I'll be around and just happy to help you. And they went to every individual person to say that. They didn't just say that to the whole group. They really made sure that every individual person understood that they could go to them for help, which I think is amazing. So yeah, after we went through immigration and did all the usual stuff that you do when you enter a new country, we were then sent to the quarantine facility. I really wanted to show you guys this, but the rules actually said that I wasn't allowed to, and I did not want to break the rules at all. So all I will say is, again, the same. The service was amazing. People were super friendly and helpful there. We got fed really, really great food, actually. I was really surprised because, again, I heard from some people that it wasn't so good, but I think it just depends where you are. My experience, it was amazing. And I even had to call the front desk a couple of times and just ask questions. And again, they were so friendly and so happy to help. And yeah, after that, I was able to go home. I guess in this video, I just wanted to explain the process because I know that it's really complicated right now. And I was definitely really, really worried about going through all of this when I re-entered Japan, but I had no reason to worry. Like I said, everyone was so happy to help. You knew what was going on every step of the way. And I really appreciated that because for someone like me who is, like I've said in previous videos, pretty introverted when I'm out in public, I really, really appreciated everything there. All of those people worked so hard. And I guess in a way, they're kind of putting their health at risk. But yeah, they definitely made the experience a little bit easier and less anxiety inducing. That's kind of the point of this video, basically. If you're ever worried about that type of thing, don't be, because the people there were really friendly. And I think this is just a testament to the service in Japan. Japan is known for having good, polite service, and I think this really is a good example of that. Well, anyway, that's the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching. As usual, I would love to hear your opinions in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!